Okay, we're going to have a look at 4 questions from our maths today. We're going to look at question number 9, 10, 11 and 12. And when we do that, we're just going to have a look and see what we need to do in order to help ourselves out with those. Question number 9 is asking us to do 1/9 plus 1/3. And obviously with these at the moment, what we have is we've got 2 different denominators on our fraction, so we need to make them the same. We should spot from that that in these, a 9th and a 1/3, they're obviously related to each other. 9 is in the 3 times table, so we can take our 1/3 and we can make that equivalent to a fraction of 9ths. And if I do that, I need to think about, okay, well, what do I do to 3 to get to 9? I multiply by 3, which means I need to do the same to the top. So 1 multiplied by 3 is going to give me 3/9, which means I then actually have as my calculation, I have 1/9 plus 3/9, which is going to give me an answer of 4/9. Okay. Then if I have a look at question number 10, lose those bits from there. Let's have a look at question number 10. So question number 10 is 1 and 1/3 multiplied by 2. So there's a few different ways to think about this. If you have a look at it, if you inspect it, you'll see that with our 1/3 here, that if I have 2 lots of 1/3, that's just going to give me 2/3, which is not going to be greater than 1. So what I can do is I can separate those out. I can have my 1 and I can have my 1/3, and I can deal with those separately. I can do 1 times 2 and I can do 1/3 times 2, and then I can put them back together at the end. So 1 times 2 is just going to give me 2. 1/3 times 2 is going to give me 2/3. So my answer is going to be 2 and 2/3 here. The way to think about that visually, okay, or if I represent that as a drawing or as a diagram, what I would have is if I do this as a bar model, I'm going to have 1 and 1/3, because if we imagine then that the rest of my box here would be there, so that's my 1 and 1/3 here. Okay, so 1 is my 1 whole and 1/3 is my second one here. And then all I'm asking to do is I'm asking to multiply that by 2, which means I need 2 lots of that. And so therefore, when I need 2 lots of that, I'm just going to double that. So I'm going to take the whole thing and I'm going to go, not like that, I'm going to take my whole thing and I'm going to just say, okay, well, let's have another one of those over here. And let's have another 1/3 over here. So now, if I look at this, I've got 1 whole, 1 whole, 1/3, 1/3. So I now have 2 wholes plus 2/3, which is how I get my answer of 2 and 2/3. Okay. For the last one on this page, question number 11, I have 5/6 multiplied by 24. The really key thing to remember with this one, the 5/6 multiplied by 24, is that in here, that multiplied by can be replaced with an of. So instead of 5/6 times 24, that can simply be 5/6 of 24. And as soon as I start thinking as a fraction of a number, it becomes much more straightforward to think about that. If again I represent that with a bar and I say, well, so I'm going to be in 6, so I'm going to have it split up like this. Those are my 6. My whole amount here is 24, and I want 5 of those 6. So I actually want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Not the whole amount, but I want 5 of them. Then all I simply need to do is I need to divide 24 by 6, which is going to give me the answer, which is going to go into each of these boxes. Okay, so 24 divided by 6 is going to give me the answer of 4. So I'm going to have 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4. Okay, because then if I think about that, I would have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So that gives me my whole amount there. Now, my underlined ones, I only want 5 of those, so I want 5 lots of 4, which is going to give me the answer of 20. Okay, so 5/6 multiplied by 24 is actually the same as 5/6 of 24, and 5/6 of 24 is 20. Okay, and then final question here, question number 12, to calculate 3/8 of 980. So again, we've got our of here, which is quite nice. We've got our of rather than our multiply. Because if it was 3/8 multiplied by 980, that's going to be quite a confusing calculation. But because it says of, it means the same thing. It means I have to do the same thing, but it just helps me out a little bit with where I'm going. So again, I'm going to have my bar representation here. I'm going to have my total across the top, which is my 980. Now, my fraction here that I'm splitting my bar into is 8. So I'm going to take my bar and I'm going to split it in half. I'm going to split my halves in half to make quarters, and then I'm going to split my quarters in half to make eighths. Okay, so I've split my bar there into 8. Okay, and I've done that because that was the fraction, that's my denominator that's given in my fraction. So now, all I need to do is I need to do the calculation of 980 divided by 8, and that will tell me what goes inside each box. To do that, I can use short division method for that. 980 divided by 8. How many lots of 8 can I make from 900s? I can make 1 with carrying over 100. How many 8s can I make from 18? 2. I can make 2 lots of 8 tens from 18 tens with 2 left over to carry over. And then how many lots of 8 can I make from 20? The answer is going to be 2 with some remainder in there of 4. And then all I can do here is I can carry over that to another 0, which is going to be my 4. Then how many will I have after that? How many 8s can go into 40? The answer is 5. So the answer of 980 divided by 8 is 122.5, which is what's going to go inside each of my boxes here. So each one of these is going to be worth 122.5. Okay, and then all I need to do, thinking about that, is I need to take 3 of those, because that's what my question is asking me for here. It's asking for 3/8 of 980, so I'm going to take 3 of those boxes, which means I'm going to do 3 times 122.5, which is going to give me my answer. Okay, again, you'd use your written out mathematical method for that. You'd use your multiplication method for that, and if you do that correctly, that should give the answer of 367.5.